Hey everyone, welcome back to the training. So we've gone through our um, Turbo Tube ranking system with the checklist, and there's a lot that we've gone through here. Check out the previous video trainings if you need a refresher on that. But we talked about tags and sort of the sweet spot, kind of related to that. There's some options, and these are smaller pieces, but again, it's really important to kind of stack these signals and make sure everything is well optimized and everything is in its right place when you're optimizing your video. So I'll kind of walk you through the options that I select outside of like title, description, tags, because there's some additional things that you can do. We'll come back to playlists in a minute. Obviously, you want to upload your custom thumbnail. We talked about how to optimize that and the tools and everything, but just wanted to walk you through some of these options and just the best choices for what you should select, just to make sure that your video isn't limited in reach or anything like that. So under this audience section, you always just want to make sure that you're selecting no, it's not made for kids. I think some people select yes just to because in their brain they're thinking they're on the safe side for YouTube, but that's not actually the case. You really don't want to select this unless you have a company that makes kids toys or something specifically targeting, that audience. In most cases, for most of us, that's not the case, because there is some evidence that YouTube limits your reach if you select yes here. So you want to make sure that YouTube's not limiting you, that it's showing you in as many places as possible for as many keywords as possible, and that it understands, that you're not in that niche, that you don't target that audience. So you just want to make that abundantly clear. So for this, you just want to say, no, it's not made for kids. If you have any paid promotion, go ahead and indicate that. I don't. Altered content, this is something relatively new. So basically, is it like a video, like you see those Bigfoot videos, right, where people make it with AI? They'd select yes here because it's altered content. It's making something look real when it actually isn't. In most cases, you're not. You can use AI to edit things or to chop up clips or to pull transcripts or for any kind of data processing stuff like that, or, procedural things, but not in the sense that you're, making people believe something is real when it isn't, if that makes sense. So in most cases, altered content, just referencing AI, you want to select no. Everything else, all of these pieces I'd leave just checked. So you want to allow automatic chapters. There's a whole piece for that. You can have AI kind of, read the transcript of your YouTube video and say, hey, just give me chapters. And that'll chop up your video in chapters. There's a little bit of a ranking signal boost here, but it's not necessary for my testing. Featured places, you can allow that on, and I'll allow concepts. Just leave those check marked. Just leave that on. We went through the tags section. Now, in terms of this, you want to make sure you select your language. So if you want to rank in the United States, you want to rank English United States. You've also got English Canada, English United Kingdom. Whatever your location is, pick that language. It's also going to help with the captions and the transcripts in terms of YouTube, processing those efficiently in the proper language. You can add a date, you don't have to. Video location, this is super important. If you want to rank in the United States, put your video location as United States. If you want to do something local, like we talked about this local niche here, Locksmith Greenville, you could actually geolocate your video. So you could put here Greenville, and that would help with the local targeting of the video and actually help it rank in that location of Greenville, South Carolina. If you were doing something in the local space, maybe you've got a local client or something like that, that's perfectly fine. Just keep that in mind. You can actually do that. But if you want to rank just in general for YouTube, best bet is to select United States here, or wherever your location is. Allow embedding, leave that on. Standard YouTube license, just leave that as it is. Allow video and audio remixing, leave that as it is. Now, here's a little bit of a hack. For category, this is something that only YouTube sees, so nobody actually really sees this in terms of your viewers. It's not visible on your video really anywhere. This is just for YouTube to say, well, where am I putting this in? Now, this is in the tech space, so you might think, well, that would make most sense. They've got some categories here that people select. Science and technology might make more sense. The reason I put news and politics is it's a little bit of a hack, because YouTube gives your video just a slight little bit of an initial boost in impressions and visibility if you put it in the news and politics category. Part of the reason is for 9/11. They wanted people to be able to go live if they needed to, in terms of any emergency that might be happening, and that would be the best category. Just give that video a little bit of instant visibility and credibility and impressions so that people can be seen when they need to in the event of some kind of an emergency or something like that. Most people don't know this. And again, this is part of the, tons of little signals and secrets and strategies and tips that all come into play when you talk about ranking YouTube videos. You're not going to find this anywhere else. So this is part of my process, part of my template, part of my system, where you put your video, regardless of what it is, in the category news and politics. Again, don't worry about viewers seeing this. This is just for YouTube and Google to give us a little bit of a slight boost in impressions and visibility. In the first 48 hours of a YouTube video, that's essential and crucial. So you're going to need that engagement on some level, and we're going to talk about kickstarting that engagement in the post-upload checklist. But this is a little bit of a start, a little bit of a signal to YouTube and Google to say, hey, give us a little bit of visibility so we can get some initial engagement, and that's going to be helpful in terms of keeping the video going and helping it rank. So all that's helpful. And then in terms of comments, I'd leave this on because you're going to need to leave a pinned comment in the post-upload checklist. You're going to need to leave this on to make that feature functional. And I just leave moderation to basic, and just leave everything as is below this. I think that's perfectly fine, unless you want to do something more strict. But just keep in mind, more strict obviously will restrict more comments, and comments are important on your videos in terms of engagement. It's not crucial, but kickstarting it is helpful. So just keep that in mind. I'd leave this comment and ratings as is. Just make sure that comments is on and leave moderation to basic. But the most important thing is the category. Put that in news and politics, and that'll help boost your video just a little bit in terms of the options. Now, when you upload your videos, you're also going to have these three as well. Subtitles is not as important. I don't upload anything. People swear by this. I can't say that it's necessary for ranking. There's just no evidence or data to suggest that. I've ranked perfectly well without it. End screen is optional. So if you click on that, you kind of have a certain, you can put this overlay on, so you can suggest a video, a playlist, and even subscribe to your channel and just kind of include that. A lot of clients don't like this, so if they say they don't want to include that, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. It's just an additional engagement piece. The cards piece is really where you have that's where the secret is. We're going to talk about optimizing playlists, but let's say you've optimized your playlist. What you're going to want to do is come into cards and add a playlist. It could be a related playlist. It could be something else. It could be whatever. Doesn't really matter, but just having a playlist ready to go that's optimized. And you see this little, where my cursor is, you can move this back and forth. This is basically indicating when the card will show up, which is just this top right-hand corner. You might see this in videos sometimes where a little eye pops up, and this is clickable essentially. What this will do is, towards the end, it will open the playlist so that people can view that and basically cycle them through the videos inside that playlist on autopilot. Not only is that getting additional views on additional videos inside your channel, but it allows the viewer to go through about 75% to 80% of the video, so somewhere around here. Don't worry about it too much exactly, but just roughly speaking, basically 75-80% through the video. Just put the card here so that this shows up at that point, because then they've watched most of the video, and part of the ranking factors for YouTube is watch time. They're going to want to watch most of the video if possible, and then engagement, liking, subscribing, commenting, engaging with the video, not clicking back, not clicking away, but just watching the video mostly through, which I would also highly recommend you do yourself as well after you publish your video. Just open it in a new tab and watch it all the way through. There's a Chrome extension that's a picture-in-picture Chrome extension if you don't want to watch a particularly long video that you've done all the way through, and you can just let that play as you're working in the background. You can Google that picture-in-picture or Google Chrome extension. But basically, you just want to make sure that viewers are watching all the way through, and then by the time they get to the end of the video, they're not just stopping and clicking away. They're going to have this playlist suggested. If they click through, that's going to open the playlist and then automatically cycle through all the videos inside the playlist. Additional watch time, additional engagement, additional videos watched, additional chances for liking and commenting and subscribing. And that kind of keeps the train going, essentially, in terms of the most important ranking factors for YouTube, which is that whole watch time engagement piece, in addition to the optimization, of course. And basically stacks those signals inside of like a funnel. So your video turns into a funnel. Your video funnels into a playlist and just keeps everything going, keeps that momentum going. So super, super important. And the playlists tie all the videos together. So if they're inside of a playlist, they might see other videos recommended in the sidebar. They click through that, even more engagement. So it starts to become an ecosystem, right? Inside of this 3x3 pillar system, this Turbo 2 ranking system that I've developed, and everything is done strategically, specifically to keep engagement going. And then you just want to click save. So of these three, carbs is the most important. You can put an end screen if you want. Don't worry about subtitles unless you want that there. And that basically rounds out the options piece of it. Small things, but they stack on top of each other like signals. So very, very important, and just some tips and tricks. If you want to learn more about tips and tricks when it comes to just AI powered SEO in general for both website and channel, we've got a Skool group that's linked down below this video. Go ahead and check that out. We've got a lot of great students in there. And a lot, you can get access to this checklist that we've been going through inside there. You can see a video demo of me walking through an actual real video upload, going through it step by step in more detail, along with other custom strategies and even tools that I've developed that you won't find anywhere else. So go ahead and check that out. Hopefully this has been helpful. We're moving through this training. You're already light years ahead of most people who are on YouTube. You could probably rank for most keywords at this point, but we're going to keep going because there's more to this template, more to this checklist that's going to help round out all of the optimizations. So super excited for what you've been learning so far and what's coming ahead. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you there.